Good morning. It's June 15th, Wednesday, 2022. And going to be close to less than a week. It'll be summer. So even though it's going to be like 102 here today, feel like summer already, but it's late spring. And what we're looking at today is from War of the Worlds Japan from DVG and designed by Arnauld Della Siega. If this is like deja vu for me because I've looked. They made 4 of these games, I believe 4, right? It was England, U.S. East Coast, France, and Japan. And I really played a lot of the U.S. East Coast. Bought the France one and played that a little bit, and then now I'm buying the Japan one. And one day I hope to get the England version of that. And I guess it may seem somewhat odd that I've bought all 4 of the games. I bought 3 of the games. I've bought a ton of War of the Worlds games over the years. War of the Worlds, the New Wave, whatever. I've played a bunch. War of the Worlds, there was a miniature game. Who put that? I like that too. But there's a reason for that. I think that H.G. Wells was absolutely the early master of science fiction for sure. And in a war gamer, if you've never looked at Little Wars or floor games, either one. But if you've never looked at Little Wars, you're really missing something on those rules. I've always wanted to play the rules from Little Wars, and I just think it would be difficult finding the. I've seen a couple of them, but I think it would be difficult finding enough cannon that shoot the spring-loaded cannon that shoot the little dowel rods. Who knows? Somebody might reproduce them somewhere. So, but I'd always want to play some of that Little Wars rule set. But War of the Worlds means a lot to me for a lot of reasons, mainly for the War of the Worlds broadcast. And I know a lot of y'all, when I say that, a lot of y'all are going to be thinking the Orson Welles broadcast from October 30th, 1938, which may or may not have caused some panic, which caused at least some people to believe that, honestly, for various reasons, that the U.S. was being attacked, or this terrestrial ball was being attacked by Martians, right? But that's not really what I'm talking about. A little over 10 years later, in what I'll consider my hometown, it was definitely my adopted hometown of Quito, Ecuador, in February of 1949, they did something similar, and it was disastrous because people freaked out. Other radio stations, it ran, I guess, on Radio Quito, but other radio stations picked it up and thought it was real newscast. And people was outside freaking out, and they said the Martians landed, I think, in Latacunga, and they were on their way. People freaked out, and then at the end, it was about 20-minute long drama. At the end of that, when the people in Quito, when the Quitoños learned it was just a drama, they were upset. They were pissed off. And Radio Quito was in El Comercio, which is a newspaper in Quito, my wife's favorite newspaper in Quito. Shared the same office, and people besieged Radio Quito there. And when the people inside tried to call the cops wouldn't come to help them because they thought that was part of the joke, because everybody was mad. And they ended up setting the place on fire. I think something that night, like 5 people died. I do believe later people committed suicide, but it turned into a disaster. And that broadcast, just something about that, just tells you something about humans, when we think things are going south. And then when we find out that it was a joke, what we can do, right? So I think that was a neat broadcast. That broadcast, Guerra de dos Mundos broadcast, you can find it on YouTube. But it's an interesting broadcast. But besides that, I love War of the Worlds. The different movies made about it. What was the movie they made, like, from a documentary point of view? I love the story, and I love playing it. And so that's why I've bought all the game, or 3 of the 4 games that DVG put out. Let's look at this. Let's look at the blurb in the back. It's going to say, very slowly, the circular top of the cylinder was rotating on its body. That's the cylinder opening up, going to expose the Martians, right? The War of the Worlds is directly based on the famous novel by H.G. Wells. The War of the Worlds is a solitaire game that you take on the role of commanding Japan's military forces in a desperate attempt to defeat the invading Martian tripods, while the game system controls the Martian forces. The War of the Worlds is played on a strategic map of Japan. When Martian tripods and human military forces enter the same zone, you resolve the battle on the tactical map. Yeah, you do. Deploy your guns, infantry, and cavalry to hold back the tripods before they devastate all of Japan. And that was another interesting part about. Let's open it up. Look, I liked the idea that it was Japan, the Imperial Japan military of the late. Some of that shrink wrap, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's hard to get off. Imperial Japan. Carajo. The Imperial Japan military of the late 1800s there is the same military that really, you're talking about the first Sino-Japanese War. You're talking about a military that would go on in 1904 to 1905, I guess, with the Russo-Japanese War. So that's intriguing. It's also intriguing that it's in Japan. The United States version was so spread out, and even the France version, the map's kind of, roundish, if you will. So the idea of it being more in your face, I thought was the cool thing. That's a cool shot. Of course, you got Big Ben there in London. Absolutely, the War of the Worlds. England would be the game that would be the true game. Component overview. There's the boards. I do like the components of this game. I like the game. I like the system. But there are legitimate gripes that we're going to go over a little bit here, right? I thought the rules and the others were laid out good, and it looks the same here. In a sequence of play, you're just going to go through the production phase, right? And you're going to go in the event check and purchase units. That's all part of that production phase, right? You're going to have to buy. There's the infantry and the cavalry and field guns, siege guns. Random harbor, right? You're gonna be using boats to have to pull capture versus destroy, pull refugees from the coastline. Then you're gonna go to the battle phase, and then the battle setup is on a tactical setup. It's kind of weird how that was done. It was okay. It wasn't my favorite way of resolving combat in a tactical map, but it was okay. I didn't have anything totally bad about it, against it, other than I just thought it was a little odd. And it kind of, I don't know, it kind of does slow the game way down, but I was fine with it, right? That's your roll effects. That's the one thing I don't know if I really like the colors for for die roll effects. Rolling green will result in randomly gaining one battle plan, and I kind of like using just regular dice in one way or the other. But that's one of my gripes. And then you go with the Martian setup. Martian actions. All right. So it's just like into battle, human step into battle. You're going to play a lot of this. You're going to be trying to get refugees, move them and get them to safety, get them to the harbor, pull them out of there on a boat, move them back around. You're going to be dealing with some of that, and you're going to deal with some, if I'm not mistaken, some pretty cool events, right? And the other ones had actual people there, man. Refugee escape phase. That's your escape phase. So at the end of the human action phase, you got your escape phase. Get your refugees out of there. Okay, there's that. Now, I do like the maps. The maps are pretty neat. I thought they were on the other ones, and this one too. It's just the same, other than it's a map of Japan instead of U.S. East Coast or France. And see, there it is. There's the map. These are, you're going to put counters in these circles up here. There's your turn counter, I guess. All right, so the map, I like that look. I like that antique look for the. Get out, huh? I tell you, man, we put these things in our houses. You may be hearing, what is that called? Alexa talking. I don't know, man. Yeah, they just talk. We put these things in our houses and they just bother us, right? So, and I do like Japan. It looks like it's just going to be 2 areas across, wide. So it does appear like it's going to be more in your face. It's going to be more in your face, and you're going to be hemmed in a little more. You may get more, maybe more combat than the other ones because of that. You know, let's see. There's a harbor here, and sequence of play on the board. That's always a class thing to do. Always a neat thing to do. And it's you're drawing a lot of cards. Now that I'm talking about it, remember, you're drawing a lot of cards. Here's your counters. They're okay. The counters are okay. Some DVG counters have been really great over the years. They're all right. My only gripe on the components is these kind of are, they're not tightly pressed cardboard as much as I would like, because some of these seem like they come apart when I was taking them out of the sprue, right? And then, of course, your tactical maps, whether it's your boats, refugees escaping, or you're going to have to fight. They're going to come at you. You're going to have to move around, or you're going to have land battles. They're okay. They're decent card stock. No problem with that. League of Terran Nations. There's your cool. All that's cool. That's your. I actually used these. These came in quite handy. This one, that was maybe bigger, but this came in quite handy. This play 8 did. It's a nice play 8 when I was playing the game. Like I said, the dice. I'd rather have. I hate colors. I hate kind of, even though it's just colors, it's still kind of specialty dice to me. I just don't like it. But yeah, it made sense. It's just what didn't break the game for me. It's just not these right here. These I tried to use these. These are stands for the tripod stands. I tried to use them once. I will not use these again. I appreciate the idea, but I hated trying to put them in those stands, and that was just kind of, just tedious and stupid. Here's your event cards, some of your event cards, and your production event. That's the one thing you're going to have. Let's open these up and we'll talk about it. We'll discuss. As I had a science teacher, Miss Wilson, used to say, "We'll discuss." I said, "Oh, gosh, why do we always got to discuss something?" Ask a question. Okay, well, I'll open it up and we'll discuss. Ah, gosh. I was always the idiot asking questions, right? So, So people were mad at me because we were discussing. All right, so these are your assembly events, and your events are just going to be like preparing. Increase the Martian victory points by 1 for each tripod in a cylinder. Man. And then you got your Martian action events. Repair any damaged tripods. All right. And you got escape events. It's going to be something like... Chuta. Carta ahí. Here we go. It's going to be something like immediately lose 1 human victory point for every zone that contains a refugee. All right. They can't help you too. Human action event. Save this card. Okay. Save this card the next time an infantry unit builds an earthwork attack a cylinder or places a powder keg. Choose the die roll result instead of rolling. That's kind of cool, right? And that's what I think you're gonna have like 7 different kind of event cards of draws, right? On your cards. So that's it's a lot of drawing. But I do like the game. Like I said, there are legit there's legit criticisms for the game. It's been a while since I played, so I can't really think of what I just didn't like. I liked most of it, except these. Hated these. Hated those. Hated those stands to stand up those. I just use them like counters, right? It worked out better anyways. So I hated this. But other than that, I was good with the games, man. And this one looks very cool, Again, Imperial Japan. So I'm probably going to get to playing this pretty soon. Maybe I'll get a review out. So we'll talk about it, see how good it is compared to the others. Because I liked US East Coast. But I really thought I would, and France too, I liked, I guess. But I really thought I would like Japan more than any of them. And maybe I will. Right, so there it is. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Anytime we get to talk about War of the Worlds and some stuff like that, I'm happy, right? Any of that old school science fiction. All right, folks. Y'all have a great day. If you're in a place that's hot, stay cool. And if you're in a place that's cool, and when I say cool, I mean 80 degrees or less. Wow. I'm jealous of you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.